All right. Hello, we are live. Hi, everyone. Wow, so a couple things. It has been forever since I've gone live in this group, so I'm really excited to be chatting today. Happy New Year as well, number two. I hope everyone, we are 5 days in, 5 days in so far to the new year, so hope your new year is going good. Um, and of course, you probably noticed the background's a little different in this live. So, obviously, since my husband and I had COVID, and I know the CDC says we're in the clear as of the 5 days, but we got a letter saying that we need to stay inside for 10 days. So, my husband's working from home this week because he can't go back into work until next week. So, I let him have the office. I am coming to you from my couch in my living room. So sorry if the sound is not awesome. First of all, when you're here, also say hello. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Um, I have my computer like on the space heater in this room, so it's a crazy setup. I'm just kind of winging it today. But it's good to be live with yous. And yeah, so I had COVID, getting better, feeling pretty good. It did crack me up. Excuse me, I am kind of phlegmy a little bit, so I promise I won't make a lot of coughing noises today, but I'll be drinking a lot of my water. It was funny on Instagram because a lot of people got COVID over the holidays, it seemed like, and a lot of people I saw going live in their Instagram stories and saying how they had COVID and were like using it as content for their social media. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I look like a foot. Like, when you have the colds too, where it's just one eye is runny, one eye's just tearing up nonstop and the other one's fine. And then the next day you wake up and you just look like Quasimodo. I mean, that was me. I'm like, I feel better than I look, but this thing that looks like a foot is not going to go on any screens. Hello. Hi, Kim. Hi, Sue. Hey, that's great, Kim. I'm glad you're here. First timer. Good. Coming in loud and clear. I do. I feel better, which is great. Just a little, I feel like a little bit of a chest cold, barely, but it is all good. Luckily, we're feeling good. Family's feeling good. Everybody's feeling wonderful. So, on that note, today is our Wednesday Q&A. I could not remember if I go live for these the second Wednesday of the month or the first Wednesday of the month, but I was like, I'm just going all in. So we're going to answer the two questions that we got, and I'm going to pull up some notes. Today we are talking about, and of course I'll have to hop back and forth with the comments and the notes because it looks like I've got my notes pulled up in a different screen. Selling artwork. The questions we got were where to start if I haven't sold any artwork and how to attract people buying original artwork on Instagram. So hopefully today's talk, since my mind feels like it's a little all over the place, I do, of course, have my notes. I will roll through them. Really, these two topics, and sorry, there's a garbage man going by right now, so sorry if you can hear that and the truck's loud. These two topics, they go hand in hand. They really do. These two questions on selling artwork, I pretty much have the same answers for both, even though in my notes I answer them separately. First and foremost, oh hi, some more people hopping in. First and foremost, what I want to say when it comes to selling artwork, overall, and this really goes for any business, but as we sell our artwork, do not operate for the sake of the sale. Don't operate just for getting the sake of the sale. And what I mean by that is when we just think of how to get the sale, how to sell my artwork, how to get the sale, how to get the sale, how do I sell this? When we put so much focus and so much energy on that, that does not help us. It actually does the opposite. We're no longer having fun in our art businesses. We're not enjoying the process, the creating, and as cheesy as that may sound, like the whole reason, like I am all for having fun in my art business. The second I stop having fun is when it's like, what's the point? Like I created this business to have fun doing what I'm doing, to earn a living from it. That is the goal. That is exactly what we're doing here. So when we start focusing and putting so much effort onto getting the sale, we stop having fun. We start stressing. That it's portrayed to our audience. They see that we're stressing about it. They can feel that. Like your audience can pick up when you're not having fun. They could pick up when you're not excited about what you're creating, but instead you're like wanting to have them buy your work and buy your work and buy your work. And I want to say all of this and also I am all about making money selling artwork. I'm all about all of you earning a living, making what you want to make, selling your artwork. That is the goal. That is the beautiful thing. And selling is important. So I'm always going to encourage you to ask for the sale, to always ask for the sale, but to not operate just for the sake of getting the sale. Does that make any sense? I hope I'm making sense here. So first and foremost, that's the thing. Not to operate for the sake of getting to sit the sale, but operate from an energetic place and an excited place for what you've created. And sharing that with the world, putting that out there to your audience in a way of focusing on, look at this awesome thing that I created. I'm excited for it. And but again, putting the emphasis on your excitement on what you've created and not like, I've got to sell this painting. How do I sell this? So that is just the overall first thing I want to kick into before I break off these questions. So the first question, where can I start if I haven't sold any of my artwork? Now, with the question, I wasn't quite sure if it was I'm trying to sell artwork and I'm not selling it, or I'm about to get started selling artwork altogether as a brand new thing. How do I get started? Regardless, I'm actually answering both of those questions. So I wanted to I'm switching back and forth between my screens. And like I said, my laptop is on my space heater in the room, so sorry if it's wobbly from time to time. So where can I start if I haven't sold any artwork? So number one, and these are things that I have said before. I know that I've said them in other lives, but I think that they always bear repeating. And a lot of times we need to hear things a few times before they start sinking in. And I completely understand that. So that's why I'm still sharing what I find is the most important. First of all, to show up on 1 to 2 key platforms. I am really stressing just like one platform. To be completely honest, if you're getting started and you want to sell your artwork, 2 platforms, not to say it can feel overwhelming and daunting, but like especially if you're on Instagram, you have Instagram stories. Those in and of themselves are they're bulky pieces of social media that I think are just a great thing to go all in on. So really go in on those platforms, those 1 to 2 platforms. One key mistake that I always try to avoid is to show up too many places. And I do see a lot of artists trying to be here and trying to be there because they think that showing up more places means more visibility. And that is just not the case. That's actually doing the opposite. It's watering down your audience, watering down your efforts, and it's not going to allow you to really dig in with your messaging because you have to post here, you have to post there, you have to update artwork here, update artwork there. Like, it's your job to, I'm skipping ahead in my notes because it does the opposite when you try to do too many places. It will help if your audience knows that one place that you show up. If they know that you're on Instagram, you do an Instagram stories, whatever, they know where they can go to find you and they know where to find your artwork. If you are selling your artwork on numerous artist places, it's going to water down that idea with if someone wants to buy something from you, where do they go to shop? Where are they going to go to find your stuff? The less, the better. The less, the better. So show up less places and do a better job. That's better for your audience. That's better for you. That way you don't feel like you have to be doing so many things and updating so many things. It is your job to show up, to share, to articulate your message, and share your artwork. And again, 1 to 2 key platforms, that is what I would recommend getting started. So number one, make that a choice, make that a priority. Limit where you show up. The second thing, the second part of this question, I hope I am not terrible to listen to today, because I feel like my mind is all over the place. So bear with me as I'm like rolling through this, and yeah, I got a lot going on mentally. So where else you can start if you haven't sold any of your artwork? One, show up one of two key platforms, the less the better. Two, start showing up and share what you create. Share your journey. Start sharing, how to articulate this the best. Okay. You've got your platforms. The next thing is you're going to show up and you are going to be energized about what you're creating. Share your story, what's going on in your life. I mean, you don't have to bear everything. So when I say your life, more like your artist journey. Get people paying attention to you. Give them a reason to, again, when they come across your feed, to stick to you. What exciting things are you creating and talking about? Showcase that you're good at what you do and you enjoy what you do. And I know that that sounds completely cheesy and vague, but like, these are the things. I know that the algorithm, whatever, like, don't even worry about the algorithm. But when you put that effort on controlling what you can control, and you can control where you show up, how you show up, what you're sharing, that is going to allow those people that come across your page, and whether that's artists, whether that's potential buyers, they're going to get to know you. They're going to want to stick around and see what it is that you're up to. The next thing, I would recommend not creating in a million different styles. The way that I have my notes is like an I, but I want to make sure that this is like a you. Don't showcase all of the million styles that you can create. Stick to what's lighting you up right then and there on what you're creating, and go all in on it. So if you have too many different designs, if someone comes to your social media and they get that quick, like 3-second snapshot about you, what you create, what your artwork looks like, let them know in that 3 seconds. Let them get a good feel for what it is that you create. Are you, excuse me, do you make earrings? Because we do have some people in this group that are jewelerists, that are ceramicists, that are painters. In those 3 seconds, can they get a good feel for your artwork? Is one piece a bright, colorful painting, and then the next a muted ceramic, and then, like, is it all over the place, or is it not? Because it needs to be just a very simple style that they can kind of see and gravitate to. The next thing, ooh, I'm getting winded. This is crazy. So I'm also getting excited, so I always like these topics. The next thing is to create buzz when you're selling. So if you're someone that hasn't if you're someone that hasn't sold artwork, again, with this question, maybe you're struggling to sell artwork, maybe you're going to get started selling artwork, that buzz is so, so, so important from a marketing standpoint. And some artists do this and some artists don't, but like, I got an alarm going off. I treat everything in my business from a social media standpoint like it's an event. This is why I release in collections. This is why, if I've got something going on, I'm sharing it as an event, because people want that excitement. So create, if you're dabbling and you're like, okay, how can I sell my artwork? Rather than just posting one here, this is available. Posting one here, this is available. I recommend giving it a try of creating a collection. And be crystal clear from day one, what that release date is. Because I've said it before and I'll say it again, confused people don't buy. If someone sees your post and they look to exactly when you are releasing a collection, they'll have that date in the back of their mind. Even if you don't have a date and you're like, okay, first part of February, circle back. I'm working on a collection. I'll be releasing the date, but it's going to be early February. It at least gives them something to hold on to mentally, to know when to circle back and have in the back of their minds. Excuse me. I'm trying to see more notes on that. Yeah, I even mentioned in my notes that getting someone to buy from you the first time is the hardest part. So that's exactly why operating for the sale should not be the most important thing when it comes to selling. The most important thing is your marketing efforts. And by marketing efforts, I really just mean showing up and enjoying what you do, sharing what you are creating. And I know that that does sound very vague, and that's probably advice that we hear everywhere, but it really is true. People may not buy from you the first time they see you and interact with you. They want to come along on that journey, learn a little bit more, and be able to see on your social media what you're all about. Okay, so number 4 was creating buzz and selling. The 5th thing, when it comes to selling, and this, pricing is something that I have a lot of opinions on. Oh, not at all. Hey, Cynthia. Sorry, I just hopped back to the comments to see if I'm missing anything. And you can see I'm getting excited about this topic because my neck turns red when I get excited. When it comes to pricing, this is kind of where number 5 comes in. I have a lot of opinions. Obviously, don't underprice your artwork. Don't underprice your artwork. That's like the number 1 thing. But the second thing is to feel good about your price point. Feel fully confident in your price point. Gaining that momentum is so important. So for your confidence, for your marketing, when you, again, do not underprice your artwork, whatever that means to you. I know that underpricing is so different for all of us, but pricing it in a way that feels good to you is going to allow you to show up confidently and be like, this painting is for sale, this is how much it is, and you're not going to shy away from it. And when that painting sells, that's going to feel so good. You're not going to feel resentful, like, oh, I know that I underpriced it. Your clients are going to feel really good about it as well because they know that they have purchased something at a fair price. Going back to the underpricing, nobody wants underpriced artwork. Clients do not want underpriced artwork. They want a fair price. They want to support you. They want to pay you what it's worth. And they want you to feel good about them investing in your artwork. Going off on a tangent with underpricing. So underpricing doesn't help anybody. Nobody feels good about underpricing. But then you make that sale, you gain that momentum, you get more confident with your pricing and all of that. It is a great it becomes a well-oiled machine. So feel good about the price point is the last thing. Like when you're selling, make sure it's at a price point that you feel good about. Excuse me. Okay. So those are about 5 things that answer that first question on, can you hear that truck outside? Can you hear me okay? Is everything doing okay? Sorry if that is loud truck. This is how we deal with COVID. We've got my husband in the office and I'm just in the front room on the couch, just relaxing. So, the question number 2, how to attract people who want to buy original artwork on Instagram. This is an easy answer, but I dive in. I've got some notes that are all over the place, so I'm gonna break this down. First and foremost, all right, checking the comments. First and foremost, hear me when I say this. We cannot control when people buy. We can't control who buys, when they buy. It's out of our hands. It's out of our hands. As business owners, as people that sell, we cannot control people's budgets, when they buy, what they buy, how much they want to invest in their budgets. None of that is anything we can control. So we can just drop the stress and the drama of finding people that buy original artwork on Instagram. We won't even know who buys original artwork on Instagram. What I want you to do is to focus on what you can control. Control what you can control, the serenity prayer. So 2 things. Okay. I'm diving on into this. So that's like the number 1 simple answer. We can't control it. We just can't control that. But this is what we can control. Building an audience that has raving fans. And I know that I've talked about this before, and I'm so fired up about this idea that, I mean, it's not like a cookie cutter thing. Like, this is what I did, so this is what you should do. Because again, we all run different businesses. We all have, make different artwork, and there's no cookie cutter thing. But what I want to share to you is like things that you can take. Was it eat the fish and spit out the bones? So I'm sharing with you things that have worked for me, concepts, things that I've focused on that has allowed me to grow an audience of raving fans, of clients, of buyers, of people that just enjoy my artwork and share that with their audience, share that with people they know. So, two things that have worked for me when it comes to growing my audience with raving fans. It's that idea of bringing people in like a magnet. Like we are a magnet and we're bringing them in. And I try to switch up that thinking rather than thinking we need to go out and find our ideal audience and we got to go find, our avatars and all of that. Be the magnet. So, like, first of all, what you need to do is, it sounds so cheesy, so I almost want to refrain from saying it. Focus on who you are, what you create, what you're jazzed up about when it comes to your artwork, and share it like it is the best thing in the world, because your artwork is. You love your artwork. You want people to see it. You want people to be just as excited about it as you are. We want to create audiences, and this is what Marisa Corcoran talks about. And I do, if you take notes, I actually do have things like numbered out. Sorry if this is going to go long. But Marisa Corcoran always says the 3 R's. You want people to remember you, rave about you, and refer you. If you can get people in your audience that do those 3 things, that is the goal. So at the end of the day, and I've said this before, people that are in my audience, some of them love my artwork and invest in it. So I do have clients. I have people that enjoy my artwork and want to purchase it and have it in their lives, which is amazing. There are also people in my audience that love my artwork but won't buy it, whether it is out of their price point, not their style, it's not something that fits their visual aesthetic in their home. Totally cool. But they still enjoy me. They still enjoy my artwork. And those are the people that will refer you, that will rave about you. But the goal is, in that order, you want people to remember you. You want to be memorable. How are you going to be memorable? I'm going on like a whole marketing tangent here, so sorry about that. I'll get to my points in a minute. But you being memorable is as easy as showing up and saying something like you're learning Italian, like in your stories. Again, just being the human that you are. Showing up in your stories, maybe you're learning Italian. That, and I know it's such a small, stupid example, but people in your audience may be learning Italian, may be learning a different language, and can relate to whatever you're sharing about maybe a struggle with learning a new language, whatever. Sharing any kind of stories in your content, sharing who you are in your content, about your process, sharing your artwork. To be memorable doesn't mean you have to be like crazy. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but hopefully, are you smelling what I'm stepping in here? Like, am I just kind of going off on the rails here? Hopefully this is making sense. So let me know. I'm going to the comments. Okay, good. We still have people here. I'm probably just talking to myself in the living room at this point. So 100%. Getting people to remember you, having fun with what you do. Those people are going to rave about you and refer you. The biggest way, how do I want to phrase this? The biggest way that I built my art business, that doesn't sound grammatically correct, so I'm sorry about that. My mind is still a little out there. The way my art business grew, and I always talk about it like a snowball. It's small at first. You're packing it in. You're putting all of this effort into this snowball. And then eventually it gets to a point to where you roll it and the more snow comes, you roll it. And eventually that one push allows it to roll more on its own. Eventually it gets bigger and bigger, and then it's rolling more on its own, and it builds that momentum. People that refer you, the reason my art business was able to grow as much as it did was because I put in all of that focused, intentional effort on growing an audience, showing up who I was. I just started showing up in my stories whenever stories became available on Instagram, and was just like, whatever, you can see me create, you can see what's going on, and I'm not an oversharer, but people referring me, people letting me know about opportunities, and also when they have friends that are looking for artwork, or friends that are, whatever, they were sharing my stuff. They were sharing my artwork and my content to where I was still putting a lot of focused effort into it, but they were sharing it for me. And what's great about that also is that a stranger is learning about your artwork, and they're learning about you from a trusted source. So having that warm lead, I guess, is what we can say, what we would refer to that as, kind of having someone that they trust referring you. Then they're already like in your world, they're already like, okay, my friend is recommending them and their artwork, so they must be pretty cool. All right. Sorry to go off on that tangent, but that is something that if you never remember anything else, you want people to remember you, rave about you, and refer you. And if you can operate your art business in such a way that can allow people to do that, then you are golden. Okay. Going back to, let me see if there's any questions. Okay, cool. Getting to the nitty gritty of this question here of how to attract people who want to buy original artwork on Instagram. Let me roll through my notes real quick. Oh yeah, I got a lot to say about this, but I don't know if we want a full hour here talk. Some of these things will be redundant of the first part, but these are all kind of different as well. So going back to what I was just saying about your audience, I remember when I first started and people were saying to find your avatar, or what does your ideal audience look like? Do they wear a hat? What's their age demographic? And blah, 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 and all of that stuff that I know that we've all heard. Like, get your ideal audience in your mind, and that's who you need to market to. And that never made any sense to me. And I never knew how, like, knowing someone's age was going to help how I show up and dictate, like, how I show up. So my recommendation is to throw that concept out the window and focus on this instead. Focus on not exactly who your ideal audience is, but more so what your audience likes. So again, getting out the idea of who your audience is and focus on what your audience likes. So yes, I can tell you overall the demographic of people that I've seen purchase from me and invest in my artwork over the past 7 years. Yes, I do now at this point in time have a snapshot in my mind. However, I show up in a way of sharing what my audience likes to see. But it starts with you. It starts with what you're excited about. So again, instead of finding your ideal audience, think of how you can draw them in. First of all, be yourself. Be yourself. I have some notes here and they don't make any sense, so I'm not even going to repeat them out loud. Like I mentioned before in my rant and answering question 1, to be yourself. To just share what you want to share. And here's a good way to think about it. I was told years and years ago, because if we get this thought in our head of like, I don't know what to share. I don't know, not specifically, I don't know what to say, but more like, I don't know how to show up. What I want to challenge you to do today is to, if you're one of those people that are kind of like, I don't know how to show up, share like you consume. And that was a phrase that was told to me years and years ago. And what I do, so for example, when it came to Instagram Reels, I don't like, and if you do this, totally cool, we're all different, and that's perfectly fine. I don't like dancing. I love dancing. I don't like dancing in Reels. I don't like pointing. I don't like that kind of thing for me. And when I see other Reels, that kind of doesn't do it for me. I don't know why, I'm just not entertained by that. So for Instagram Reels, it's like, okay, what Reels do I enjoy seeing them? What do I enjoy consuming? I really like when I see artists like progress paintings, whether they're sped up or you just kind of get a snapshot of an artist creating. I don't know, like people are nosy and I'm nosy. I want to see other artists create. I want to see what they do. And I love just that entertainment of seeing them create. So that is how I started with my reels. I'm like, okay, it's what I like to see. This is what I consume, and that's what I'm going to share. So let me just give you that tip of share like you consume. What do you enjoy seeing? And then that is a great place to start on sharing how you want to share. Eventually, maybe you'll be like, I don't know, I don't really care for that. Then switch it up. The important thing is always to get started, and that's a good place to start. So hey, Cynthia. Okay, so I'm getting to the comments. I started making more reels of my process and I had started to get followers. Is this different than stories? It is different than stories, but the beautiful thing is reels and stories kind of get more airtime right now. And again, like I don't focus on quote unquote the algorithm, but it is true on Instagram with reels. That's getting a lot of airtime. That's getting in front of a lot of people because that's what's hot right now. That's like the new thing. That's great. And stories is a really great way to, if you want to use stories, awesome. If you don't, that's cool too. But stories are a really great way for your audience to get to know you better, kind of dig in a little deeper. And it's almost like you have this one-on-one connection with them and you're able to chat with them. They're kind of, it's almost like they're there with you. And again, like the whole share like you consume thing, I enjoy looking at Instagram stories more than scrolling through my feed. To be 100% honest, that's what I do. Because you feel like you're getting the behind the scenes, you're getting like the real, you're getting the real thing. So that is just me. Reels are awesome because they are just bite-sized little things. And to share your process, you don't have to invest a lot of time or effort into them. You can just share some little clips, 10 seconds, whatever, post it, put some music to it, call it a day. So awesome. Cynthia, I'm really glad too that you're doing, that you've stepped up and you're testing out reels. I love it. Excuse me. I'm sorry that I'm clearing my throat in the computer too. I'm sure that's gross to hear. Oh, spilled some water on the couch. So going to that, what I was saying about what my audience likes. So think to yourself, like, what does your audience like? When I create abstracts, who's showing up? Who's giving me feedback? Who's buying? And it really starts, my notes kind of go from a me to you. So it really does start with you and you sharing and creating things that you want to, things that excite you and light you up, and you sharing that energy. And that is a great way to say, okay, what's resonating with my audience and what's not. For me now, I know what my audience likes to see. I have been doing this for years, so eventually I just know, okay, this is what they like, this is what they don't like. And then there's the things where it's like, I don't care if they like it or not, I'm enjoying this. But it's that whole idea like you have the power. It starts with you being excited about what you are creating. So moving into my next thing, my numbers are a little out of control and crazy, but this kind of has to deal with this and this doesn't, but this is something that drives me crazy, so I'm going to share it. Do not forget that there is a human on the other side of that number. So like with your followers, there's a human on the other side of those numbers. And with every like, that's awesome. That's a human that's stopping to like that post. When they comment, like, the idea is, yes, there's a human on the other side of those numbers. So first and foremost, do not ever take that lightly. That is such a big deal that people are following, they're liking, they're commenting. On a complete side note that's not in my notes, if someone's taking the time to comment to you, even if they're just throwing up little hearts, do the best you can to put forth that effort to respond to them and respond in more than a like. So I'm just going to push that a little bit further. If someone takes the time to send you a chunk of a sentence that says, hey, this is awesome, I love it, love what you're working on, please respond. Please do more than a like. Use words to respond to them, because and I'm going off, like I feel like I'm sharing everything I know today. Sorry, I think I'm excited to just talk to people again. So don't mind me. But yes, respond to people. That makes a difference in that person's world. Like, oh my gosh, they actually took the time to respond to me, first of all. And second of all, other people go to your comments and they will see you responding to other people. And that makes an impact on other people, on those lurkers, is what I call them. People that love your content, people that love your posts, but don't actually do anything. Like, you'll never know. They're not going to like it. They're not going to respond. You kind of have lurkers in your audience. And that's just the way it goes. So being able to go above and beyond to communicate with your followers, with your audience, that goes a really long way. And that's something that's so simple and low-hanging fruit. And hopefully I'm not, oh, Kim, thank you. You're loving all the info I'm sharing. Yeah, I'm just like regurgitating everything that I feel like and I'm going off on all the tangents. But thank you so much for being here if you're here listening as well, because I am enjoying chatting with humans. Okay, what am I on? I'm on I say number 2, but I think it's 4. Stop obsessing over the numbers. And I know that I'm supposed to be answering the question, how to attract people that want to buy original artwork on Instagram. I think I've initially answered that with like, don't even focus on that, because we never know who's buying, who's investing. And people that do buy and invest may not even be in your world. Like they may just come in randomly. And I actually have a random story that happened last year, which was insane. But you never know when people are buying, when they're lurkers, when they're actively loving your content. You never know. So this second segue of this answer that I'm providing is really how to maximize you and your marketing efforts, and like doubling down on who you are and what lights you up and what really makes a difference to your audience. What I have seen over my past 7 years, what have I learned of what actually sells, and it's your energy. It's you. It's your energy. It's you. It's your artwork. It's all of it in this nice, fun package. So, second thing, stop obsessing over the numbers, the perfect feed, the timing things on when the most optimal time to post a day. Share what you want to share. Oh, I put it here, and share like you consume. So I'm sharing that piece of information with you. Last year, there's been several times in my art business that I just my computer's dying when I plug it in, that I'm just kind of like, you know what, I know when I start focusing on the wrong things and I start putting too much effort on followers, putting too much effort on posts and what my feed looks like. So I'm specifically saying to stop obsessing over that, because that's something that I have done in the past. I am not perfect. That is something that I have put a lot of emphasis on. And even specifically, I would be sharing little off-the-cuff tweets on my Instagram page. Excuse me, that was pretty gross. I apologize for that. May have burped a little bit. I'm sorry, I just had lunch too. I promise I'm not a gross human being. But going back to this, putting an effort, like just showing up and doing what you want to do. I would share little tweets on my Instagram page, and that's what people like the most. And I was in a podcast interview last year, and they even asked, like, how do you know what you want to say? How do you know what you want to post? You're doing, I feel like you're speaking, you're saying such important things. And I'm like, I just stopped caring. I stopped caring, how people were taking in what I'm saying. I'm a kind person. I'm not saying I stopped caring about people's feelings, but I stopped putting so much effort and emphasis on the perfect thing. And I started having fun again. And it's something in our art businesses I feel like we always need to come back to, is having fun, because there is, I feel like, a natural progression of us having fun, and then we're forcing things, and you have to step back and then have that fun again. So when I share in the group, keeping things simple, keeping things fun, make sure you're having fun in your business. That's a reminder that you will constantly, constantly have to keep coming back to. I am just sharing that and saying that just right off the cuff there. The next thing, and I know I have this in my notes. I'm going to share this, but don't put too much emphasis on this, but it's still very interesting. And we all do this in different ways. Other business owners do it differently and whatever, and that's great and fine. Review your analytics and see what your audience likes and enjoys and responds to. So this, two sides to this, what I'm mentioning. This is why it's important to share, why it's important to show up consistently. Again, not constantly, but consistently. It's so you can learn over time what people engage with, what they connect with. If you're not sharing, then you have no data or information to look over. Then you have no idea what people like and enjoy and what to tweak, what to double down on. So if you're someone that's kind of hesitant on showing up and sharing and all that, I really want to encourage you that that's how you grow. That's definitely how you grow and you learn. And again, not too much emphasis on reviewing the analytics, but definitely go to what some of your most popular posts were over the last month or 6 months or a year, and just pop in, like on Instagram, for example, you can see your most popular content and see if there's a correlation with your most popular content. So the weird thing for me when I did this last year, it was like all of my top 10 posts over the year was me holding my artwork. And it was weird because in my mind, I always thought it was like the artwork. Like people want to see my artwork, but it was like people enjoy the human interaction. So when they come to your page, want to see the artwork, I could go on about this actually more, but again, see what people enjoy, see what they like. And the best way for you to review your analytics, review what works and what doesn't, is to take action. Number 4, I feel like I have said this several times, so I'm sorry if this is redundant. I won't spend too much time on it, but make it more than about the sale, or make it more than just about the art. Make it about you. You are your art. Your story is your art. And I know that sounds cheesy, and I know we hear that all the time, but it is extremely, extremely true. Imagine, I buy artwork from artists, and this is true for me as a buyer. If I see a painting I love, that is one thing. But man, if there's an artist I love, I'm seeing what they're creating, if it's in my price point, when it's available. Like I feel like I start with the artist, and then I want to invest in that artist. I want their artwork in my life. And so this is something that I say specifically as an art buyer. It's about the whole thing. It's about you as an artist and your journey and enjoying the process. The 5th thing I have here, does this make sense? How to attract people? Okay, I've got my notes. Is this resonating? Is some of this helpful in taking notes? I know I'm almost about to wrap it up here. No, I'm on 45 minutes already. Holy cow. The 5th thing I have here is to show your face. It's all about connection, and sharing your face is really the simple thing that you can do. I say that, and I know that on Instagram I have not been showing my face lately. One, because I have looked like a foot for probably the past week. This is probably the first time I look like a human being in a long time. But going back to that whole idea of sharing like you consume, when you're on social media, don't you feel a stronger connection with people when you could see their face? And, they're talking to you in their stories and they're doing that. Not saying that you need to go outside. I recommend going outside your comfort zone. However, again, I know there's a fine line. So I'm not like pushing you to go outside your comfort zone. However, I want to challenge you to, if that's something that you know is completely doable and you don't have any type of like extreme anxiety that's holding you back. It's just more like, ooh, this is risky, that kind of thing. But again, taking the way we run our business in a way that is fun and a way that we enjoy seeing from other people and using that as kind of a guidepost on something that we can do. So showing your face. Number 6 is one quick sentence, but I'm going to drag it out a little bit longer. Number 6 is to actually show up for other people. And what I mean by that, and that's 6 is the last one. So I'm going to dive into that just slightly. Sorry, this is shaky. Dive into that real quick and then probably call the video. But actually showing up for other people. Going back to that whole idea of having people that remember, rave, and refer you. In my business, what has allowed me to grow to where my art business is because there's several reasons, but a big one is people referring me to their friends, to their business owners, to their interior designer people, to opportunities, whatever. But it has come from me actually showing up for other people. So I don't just go on social media, post, and ghost. Like, I recommend also, since we're not spending all day on social media, set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. And that is your special time that you get on Instagram and you connect with people. So whether that means you watch stories, like make it a point to actually connect with human beings on social media and show up for other people to where it's not just all about you and pushing content out there. Like, have fun getting to know people. If there's an artist friend that's posting, like, show up for them, comment, share their stuff. And that was something that I did from a genuine excited place, like, holy crap, I get to make artist friends on social media. This is great. I could chat art with people, and coming at it just from this authentic, I know that word's overused, but just this real way of wanting to cheer people on, wanting to see them succeed, wanting them to sell their artwork. That really makes a big difference. Not to say to do that so you can sell more artwork, because that's absolutely not what I'm saying, but being able to utilize this gift of social media. We get to get our artwork out there to people. We get to connect with people that love art, people that are artists. It's a really great thing. So to be able to show up for other people is my number 6. So that's the final thing that I wanted to say in today's talk. Again, today, all about selling. Hopefully this stuff was helpful. I know I went on a lot of rabbit trails. I think I'm just excited to be here live again and talking with people. So again, I hope you're having a great new year. I will be, on a side note, I will be live for sure next week when I get my studio space back from my husband. And there will be some changes going on in this Facebook group, so I'll be sharing more about those, and I will keep everyone posted. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll chat with you soon. All right, bye everyone.